Released in late 2013, the iPhone 5C has been heavily regarded as a failure, but after using it for a while in 2018, I've been quite surprised about how well it's held up. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and today we're going to be talking about the iPhone 5C and how it performs in 2018. Before we get started here, just want to remind you all I do have a Twitter as well as an Instagram, and you should totally go follow me over there. Direct links down below in the description. But with that said, let's just jump right into this. The iPhone 5C has been around for about 5 years now, which is crazy. It was released along the iPhone 5S as a cheaper option, and basically shares everything it has with the iPhone 5 except for the design. Not everyone was happy about this, as it seemed overpriced considering that it was just last year's phone but in a cheaper enclosure. It was supposed to be a budget option, but considering it started at $550 for the 16GB model unlocked, it isn't surprising people weren't impressed. Actually, that doesn't sound too bad today, but back then that wasn't cheap. I'm gonna go a little bit further into this in a video dropping soon, so if you're interested, look out for that. Link will be in the description once that gets posted. Anyways, we are a little bit more interested in how the iPhone 5C holds up now in 2018, so let's move on. The design of the iPhone 5C is really nice in my opinion. This is probably the most premium plastic phone I've ever used, and it feels really good in the hand. The 5C comes in a variety of colors, which of course sets it apart from any other iPhone ever, with white, pink, yellow, blue, and green. Apple's tagline for the 5C was "for the colorful," and I think this really fits the 5C perfectly. It really is unique and has an option for everybody, which is really nice. The 5C was the last iPhone to come out with the classic home button, which is really cool, but unfortunately it also means there is no Touch ID. The display comes in at 4 inches, which is relatively small for a phone in 2018, but it still looks pretty good with a resolution of 640 by 1136 and pixel density of 326 ppi. You can't see pixels, and so the phone is totally usable when it comes to the screen. When it comes to the camera, the 5C is actually pretty decent, with 8 megapixels and 1080p video. In good lighting, shots can look pretty good, and while it isn't going to take amazing photos, it's certainly enough for most people. The front-facing camera, on the other hand, is pretty bad, with 1.2 megapixels and only 720p video. Not the best phone for selfies, but overall the 5C doesn't perform terribly in the camera department for 2018. The iPhone 5C has a battery sized at 1510 milliamp hours, which is actually slightly bigger than the iPhone 5's battery. That said, it is still pretty small, and while it will get you through the day if your phone has a decent battery still, because these phones are so old, a lot of the batteries have been very degraded over the years, and so you might find yourself having to charge it multiple times per day. Spec-wise, the iPhone 5C is pretty decent, although not as good as the 5S. It holds Apple's A6 chipset, which has a 32-bit architecture and a full 1GB of RAM. This is actually pretty decent for the time, although not amazing. The 5C supports up to iOS 10.3.3, which is fine actually. It's pretty good, and I'll get to that in a sec. There is no iOS 11 because the phone is 32-bit, and iOS 11 only supports 64-bit phones. The iPhone 5C runs iOS 10 really well, surprisingly so. It is exactly on par with the iPhone 5, and you know, it's not slow. That's gonna vary user to user, but in my personal experience, it's been actually pretty fast. iOS 10 is just fairly smooth on the iPhone 5 and 5C. What's nice here is that you can jailbreak this phone, and this of course opens up a lot of options for you for customization, something that I'm definitely a fan of. One of the nice things about iOS 10 is that there is very good app support still, and this will remain until the release of iOS 13 in late 2019. You can download almost any app, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, you can download the latest version of it. And yes, you can't run Fortnite mobile or whatever, but still, the selection is pretty darn good. And so the iPhone 5C actually totally works as a smartphone in 2018. 2018, unlike say the iPhone 4S, which I've gone into so many times now, but essentially the 4S is very, very slow. The 5C is not at all. It's actually very quick considering how old it is. You can find the iPhone 5C if you'd like to for about $40 to $60 on eBay. This blue 16GB 5C was about 50 bucks, and I got it from Craigslist. This was actually not a bad deal, and you could probably find a pretty good deal as well. And so I would actually recommend buying an iPhone 5C if you need a cheap phone or even a backup phone. Although you probably shouldn't go for the 8GB model. It might be a little bit cheaper, but trust me, it's not worth it. The iPhone 5C really holds up in 2018. It's surprisingly decent, especially considering that it's widely regarded as a failure among the tech community. It's held up really well over the years, and if you can get past the plastic frame, then this is a really solid smartphone in 2018, and it is totally usable. I really didn't have a lot of problems with the 5C while using it. I really enjoyed it. It was kind of nostalgic for me. I had a phone that was exactly like this one years ago. While the size isn't perfect, the phone itself is really nice. I didn't really experience any serious slowdown or anything negative to that extent. And yeah, that said, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. There's not a lot to say other than the iPhone 5C is still a very decent phone in 2018. Sorry for the shorter video, but again, I don't really have a lot to say here. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check back for another video on the 5C. I'm going to be trying to post it tomorrow, but it might come a couple days later. Just pay attention. I'll post the link in the description below once it's up, so look forward to that. Consider liking this video if you enjoyed it, found it interesting, whatever, and subscribe for more content just like this. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, please. I don't have enough followers over there, so that'd be pretty cool of you. That all being said, I hope you all have a great day, and without further ado, I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I will see you all next time.